Alright guys, it's time for another tier list. Everybody loves a tier list. As you probably know, this is Console Crapshoot. We usually spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. And what we're doing here is ranking all of the episodes, all of the games that we have played on the show so far. Last week we did episodes 1 through 20, ranked them, and then we showed some statistics for those episodes. Those are still up on the tier list, and now we're going to keep going by ranking the next 20 episodes 21 through 40. So here we go, let's jump right into it. Episode 21 was a game called Freaky Flyers for the Xbox. This game was sort of a Mario Kart, more of a Diddy Kong's Racing kind of game, but it was like a kart racer but with planes. It was pretty problematic in some of its humor, but it was funny and it was okay. It felt a little slow, but it was decent. I gave it a 3. Let's see, where does it go? Because we're going to put these in order here. I'd say it wasn't a bad game. I'm going to put it right in the middle here. I think right under Aggressive Inline. It was pretty fun. All right, so episode 22, we played Contra Legacy of War on the Sega Saturn. That one was a top-down Contra game. It was like the first sort of 3D Contra game. It sucked. It was dull. It was boring, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Yeah, let's see. Contra Legacy of War. I'd say I'm going to put it right between Ruiner Pinball and Deep Blue here. Yeah, more entertaining than Deep Blue. The next game was Iron Man Exo Manowar in Heavy Metal on the Sega Saturn, episode 23. This game was pretty doo-doo as well. It was crap. It kind of looked like a Hyperscan game. If you know what a Hyperscan game is, look it up. If you don't, you know what I mean, but it looked like crap for a Sega Saturn. There was 32X games, Genesis games that looked better than this thing. It was pretty crappy. Let's see here. I'm gonna put this one between Fighting Street and Wayne's World. Not a good game at all. Episode 24. Let's see. Oh, that was Fahrenheit on the Sega CD. That was an FMV game. It sucked. I hate FMV games. I hate those kind of reactive, turn left, turn right things. It's kind of never been my favorite kind of game, but it was impressive. It was kind of well put together, and the production value, the fire, everything was kind of impressive. So I did give it a 1, but I would say it's better than the other ones here. Better than Great Valley Racing Adventure and Braindead 13. Episode 25 was the first Japanese-only wheel. I've started doing that for every 25 episodes. So we're coming up on the third one now. It was called Mado Kingo Granzoto, I believe was the pronunciation, and that was for the Super Graphics. That was a Japanese-only system. I gave that one a 2. It was lacking severely. It was cool on paper, transforming into robots and stuff, but it was not a great game. I'd say it was a little better than Deep Blue. Better than Contra? No, I'm putting it right there. Yeah, that feels right. We're still in the terrible 2s. Had a lot of bad games during this era. We're almost out, but here we had Zatch Bell Mamoto Fury for the PS2. It's a game about collecting babies and making them fight each other to the death. Pretty wacky game, very Japanese, silly game. It wasn't that bad. I gave it a 3. It was decent. I'd say it was fine. Where would I put it on the 3s here? Better than Jeopardy for sure. Better. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right here. It's on the high end of the 3s. It wasn't too bad. Also not great. And episode 27 was when we finally got out of our rut with Wampum on the Nintendo Entertainment System on the original NES. This was a great game. Was really surprised by it. Had Mega Man vibes, but pulled it off really, really well. I gave it a 4. I thought it was an awesome game. The variety in gameplay mechanics, it was well designed. It was really cool. I am going to stick it on here, and that's really weird for a game that was kind of a skin over another game, but cool game nonetheless. And we're still going strong. Episode 28 was Ultra Street Fighter 4 for the PlayStation 3. We got a little more advanced here. I love this game. This was a classic, and when you think about what it had to do, it had been forever since Street Fighter 3, which is kind of a cult classic, but didn't get that kind of commercial success that 2 did. It had to reinvent the franchise, had to reinvent a classic franchise, and it did that with flying colors. Street Fighter 4 was amazing. This version, Ultra Street Fighter 4, even more amazing. I gave it a 5, actually, believe it or not. I thought it was a masterpiece for what it is, for what it had to do. It accomplished that with flying colors, but I would put it on the lower end of the 5s. It was, kind of bordering a 4 and a 5, and I gave it a 5. Let's see what's next. Episode 29 was Afterburner on the Sega Master System. What did I give this game? I gave it a 2. It was pretty weak. I love the arcade. I even loved this Master System version when I was a kid, but playing it now, it's pretty weak. It's arcadey, it's fun, but you can just hide in the corner and not get hit if you want to. With all that said, though, I'd say it's better than all of this junk. Afterburner's better than Captain Silver, both Sega Master System games. And now we got a big one. Episode 30 was Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64. Obviously, this game is a 5. It redefined games as we know it. It redefined 3D games. I mean, it defined 3D games to begin with. They couldn't quite figure it out until Mario 64 came along. I'm pretty confident in saying that this is the best game we played so far as the first 30 episodes. Better than Fable 2. I think I could safely say that. Okay, moving on. Episode 31. We played Clay Fighter Tournament Edition for the Super Nintendo, and I gave that a 2. A lot of bad fighting games at this time, kind of boring. It was creative, it was funny, it was one of the more memorable fighting games that came out of the fighting game factory at that time, it felt like. But ultimately, it was just kind of blah. Better than Fighting Street. Better than Contra. Better than Pinball. I'm going to put it right there behind Captain Silver. Sorry, Clay Fighter. Captain Silver was more cohesive and better. This is a controversial one. This is episode 32. We played Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube. Look, it's a Mario game. It's a Nintendo game. I wasn't impressed by it. It had a lot of polish compared to most normal games, but not compared to a lot of Mario games. I still gave it a 4, but it was really a low 4 for me. And that could be controversial to some people, but I'm going to put it at the bottom of the 4s. Still a good score, though. Still a good game. All right, episode 33, we had The Amazing Spider-Man Web of Fire for the Sega 32X. This game is worth a lot of money. A lot of people want it. It is not that good. If you think it's good, you just are trying to justify something. I think it wasn't awful, though. Definitely better than Iron Man for sure, and it was working on worse hardware. I'm going to put it above... All right, I'm going to put it between Afterburner and Captain Silver. We need to separate those two. They're trouble. Episode 34 was Dissidia Duodecim Final Fantasy for the PSP, the PlayStation Portable. This was a Final Fantasy 3D action fighting game situation. It's kind of hard to define. It was a big surprise. I really liked it as a Final Fantasy fan. I really dug it. I thought it was really cool. This one, I gave a 4, and I would go as far as to say this is a high 4. Didn't quite qualify for the 5, but great game. Had a wonderful time with that, and I still haven't beaten it. I got to go back and beat that. I've been meaning to. All right, here's a piece of crap. We have Hover Strike Unconquered Lands for the Jaguar CD. When you have the Jaguar, you can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be a piece of crap. This was the CD version. It was better than the Jaguar version because it had more stuff. I don't know if more of a bad thing is good, but whatever. I gave this, what did I give this? I gave it a 1, and that's pretty on brand. I'd say this was better than Brain Dead 13, but not as good as Great Valley Racing Adventure. This one sucked. All right, we have another Saturn game for episode 36. That was Sky Target. This one was kind of part of the Afterburner series, but not officially. It was made by Sega. It was a 3D kind of Afterburner game. It was fun. It had a wacky soundtrack. I dug it, but it was a short, kind of shallow experience. So I gave it a 3, and let's see. Was it better than Fighter's Destiny? Yeah. Jeopardy? Wow. I'm going to put it between Freaky Flyers and Saturday Night Slam Masters. It was right in the middle there. All right, episode 37. This one got a lot of. This is my second most viewed episode. This was Conker's Bad Fur Day for the N64. Controversial game, not really controversial game, but dirty language game. A lot of adult kind of humor on a Nintendo system. There's a lot to be said for that. This was kind of a classic. Gameplay falls short a little here and there, but the amount of stuff they got on this N64 cartridge is amazing. Huge game. lot of variety, a lot of color, a lot of voice acting in a cartridge. Really impressive game. I gave this a 4 out of 5, and what are we gonna say? Better than Mario Sun. Oh, that's gonna piss someone off if I say Conker's was better than Mario Sunshine, but I didn't like Mario Sunshine that much. I think Conker's is better than Ninja Gaiden 3, better than Gremlins. Wampum was fantastic. I'm gonna put Conker's Bad Fur Day right there. Next game was 38, episode 38, Spyro Year of the Dragon. That was essentially Spyro 3 on the PlayStation 1. I gave this one a 4 as well. And yeah, it was my first experience with a Spyro game, believe it or not, and I really liked it. It was a little childish, but it did the job. It was kind of more like Mario 64 than a lot of games, but it was good. Yeah, is it better than Conker's? That's a good question, and they were back to back. I'd say the gameplay and the game design was better, but Conker's wins points for other stuff. It's just funnier. I'm gonna put Spyro right there behind Conker. Let's see. 39 was Bratz the movie on the Nintendo Wii. This was a funny episode, I thought. It came out really good. And by the way, with any of these episodes, if you want to know more, obviously, go back and watch the episodes. I maybe make a little more sense as to why I gave it the score, and I try to put a lot into these episodes and make them funny. So Bratz was one that stuck out to me as being one of the funnier ones I've done. And I gave that a 1. It was horrible. The music was horrible. I go into that in the episode. There's a funny moment there. It was kind of well designed. It was doing what it was supposed to do, but what it was supposed to do, I wanted no part of. Bratz the movie, Hover Strike is just abysmal. It was funny. I'm going to put it right under Fahrenheit. I almost, part of me wants to say Bratz the movie is the worst game ever on this list, but it's really not. It's terrible in content, but it's made competently. And finally, episode 40, we had X-Men Legends on the Xbox. I love X-Men Legends. It's just kind of the best X-Men games that exist currently. X-Men Legends 1 and 2. Not quite a masterpiece. They improved on the formula a lot with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. So I gave it a 4, but I want to say, man, this is a great game. Yeah, this is going to go all the way up on the 4 list. Best 4 on the list. So we've got 40 games here on our tier list. So let's move on to the statistics. Here's the statistics, adding the next 20 games. So this is the first 40 games. Less interesting, but becoming more interesting stat is the years that the games we played came out. It looks like 1995 and 1996 are in the lead because we played 4 games from each of those years. Oldest game we've played so far was from 1986, and that was Gremlins for the Atari 5200. And the newest game we played so far was Ultra Street Fighter 4 for the PlayStation 3. That was 2014. Let's see, as far as systems that we have played, Sega Saturn, the Nintendo 64, and the Sega Genesis all have been played in 3 different episodes. No new Genesis games. It was 3 in the first 20, but it looks like N64 and Saturn caught up. And the final stat here is the rankings. Just like I expected, I said last time that the 2s are going to overtake the 3s. The 3s were in the lead in the first 20 episodes, but the 2s have passed it. 12 2s were given out, 2 out of 5s, 10 3 out of 5s, 9 4s. A lot of 4s popped up later in this one, and the 1s have overtaken the 5s. More bad games than good. 5 1s and 4 5s. So yeah, that's basically it. Like I said, go check out the full episodes if anything interested you here. You want to know why I gave what I gave. This is fun. I like doing this. I think next Tuesday afternoon, look for another one of these, and it's going to be episodes 41 through 60 added to the list. And then we're going to be caught up. I'm currently editing. I'm in the early 70s. So once we get up to episode 80, then I'll put out another one of these. But it's going to be every 20 episodes. So we've got one more of these coming up next week. Thanks for joining, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this breakdown. And don't forget, Friday morning is going to be a new episode. It's episode 69, and it's a cool game. I hope you'll be there, and see you then.